The game of lacrosse was created by tribes to prepare for strength and protection. Tonight, we honor the creators' game with Native American Heritage Night. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to our broadcast. John Gertler along with Steve Burmo, the classic matchup with the Philadelphia Wings and Buffalo Bandits. And Steve, the Bandits will try to do something different tonight.
Yeah, both teams coming in, the Wings and Bandits on losing streaks. The Wings have lost 6 games in a row. The Bandits have dropped 3 in a row.
Nanticoke leads the way for the Bandits, at least last week, with a career-high 5 points. He was awesome in their terrible loss.
Yeah, only 18 points on the season for Nanticoke. He'll want more points than that, but 2 goals and 3 assists last week against Colorado on a night where the offense struggled. The Hoka had a bit of a breakout game. Secondary scoring will be key for Buffalo. He's self-described with a beast mode mentality. He loves to go to the middle and cause chaos, and physicality is an earmark of his game.
And for Philadelphia, the first American-born player to go over 900 points in the National Lacrosse League, Joey Resetarits.
Yeah, Hamburg, New York native just outside of Buffalo, has 111 career points against the Bandits in 22 games played. He loves playing against Buffalo, has 30 points on the season, second to Brennan O'Neill. Last week, 3 goals, 1 assist. And John, if you give him room to shoot, he is lethal and will find the back of the net.
Loves to play in Buffalo, a crisp night in the single digits, wind chill below 0. And speaking of below, the Bandits, it's unfamiliar territory for them to be in 10th place with their record at losing streak, but we'll see if the Bandits and Philadelphia Wings can turn the tables. Focusing inside, KeyBank Center, ready to go for the face-off with Connor Farrell. Coming into this evening's face-off efficiency of 55%. And Steve, if it's one thing, little points of the game, it's to win the face-offs, at least that first possession for Bandits to get a part of the game. And as John Tavares said earlier, we've got to score early.
Yeah, Tavares talked with him this morning before shoot-around, and he talked about getting off to a quick start, especially offensively. Last week, the offense didn't score in the first quarter, so they're going to look to set up an early lead here against Philadelphia.
Josh Byrne in over the restraining line of Philadelphia from the slot area, over the shoulder feed intended for Ian McKay, but it's sticked up by the starting goaltender Nick DeBood coming into this evening's game. .802 save percentage, very impressive. Solid goaltender, Steve. When the Bandits played Panther City Lacrosse, I mean, he was just stoning the Bandits. He turned in a pretty good performance despite having just being relieved after 34 minutes of play last week. There's Philadelphia's opportunity. And again, shot goes wide. That off Eric Fennell initially made that attempt, and the ball dribbles back out to center. Great to have you with us tonight on the television. CW23, ESPN+, TSN+, NLL+, and for our viewers in Philadelphia, Philly 57. Josh Byrne with the ball, crossing it back over. A miscue forces the play back out. And the youngster, Lucas Nielsen, getting a chance to be in the lineup tonight, fumbled on that one. 2
offensive sets for Buffalo. One turned over by an illegal pick, the other turned over by a missed pass, and Nielsen loses possession to the Philadelphia bench.
Resetarits starts it up, leaves it back over to Reardon. Now swirling is the newly acquired Kyle Jackson, getting it back over to the near side. Here's Resetarits floating it. Ball picked up by Buffalo, and here come the Bandits making a quick transition with Steve Priolo approaching the Philadelphia restraining line with Tehoka and Nanticoke. He'll hang on to the ball. One interesting point about Buffalo, trying some different things. Nanticoke will go left, he'll go right. McKay will do the same thing, and he's got the ball right now from the slot area, firing it back over to Dane Smith with a shot. He scores! The Great Dane, 103 consecutive games and goal number 19 on the season.
So far, both teams, a couple of offensive sets that come up empty. Our first unofficial shot on goal comes as Dane Smith comes off the bench. The Bandits defenders stayed out there originally. Tehoka Nanticoke held up the ball and let the reinforcements come out the front door. And Dane Smith, just way too much room to pick a spot there, John. He catches the ball, he's able to stride down a couple times and looks to the left side, and Nick Damude finds the back of the net. And just about 2 minutes into the game, there is that quick offensive start that Coach John Tavares was looking for when I spoke with him this morning.
Score early, score often. The challenge now for Buffalo. Remember what happened last week in Denver. The team didn't even watch the video. They went right to preparing for this game tonight with Byrne firing a shot. Saved by Damude, and the ball is picked up by Philadelphia, and they dash down the left wing lane. Out at center as the ball is turned over. That off the move of Ben Cromer, just assigned to the active roster this evening. We'll have scratches for you in just a couple of moments. Blake Reardon leaving the ball back over to Joey Resetarits. Down to the far side. Trying to break free. Brennan O'Neill looking for a lane. Fires it back over to the left side of Bandits. Making the save. Vince coming into this evening's game. .762 save percentage. 21 saves in 27 minutes last week in Denver. Ian McKay with the ball. Top of the slot, Josh Byrne. Dane Smith with it now. Back over to McKay. Chris passing for the Bandits. Here's Byrne with a shot that whistles wide. Rebound picked up by Byrne. Rebound, Nanticoke. Damude with the save, the rebound, Buffalo. Resetting the shot clock. Good flurry now for the Bandits, leading it 1-0 here in the first quarter of play. Kyle Buchanan tipping the ball. Back over to Nanticoke, now to Byrne. Sweeping as it McKay. Deking is Buchanan. Now to the slot area, Buchanan looking to wind up with a shot. Damude with a save, the rebound jumps right back out. And Steve, Philadelphia just looking to get that ball out of their zone.
Yeah, a couple chances there for Buffalo. Byrne shoots it wide. They scoop up the loose ball. A real good save by Damude with his left arm. McKay scooped that loose ball. So 3-4 looks at the net, but a good job by Philadelphia turning Buffalo away.
Michael Sowers.
What's he got?
He got a shot away. Good save by Matt Vince. We're on Sowers in just a couple of moments while Ian McKay's right back out there going to work. Or check that, Cam Wires getting the ball back out at center. And now Ian McKay teaming up with Kyle Buchanan. Big offense out now for Buffalo. Low drive. They move the save. Rebound. Score! Right place, right time. 2-0 Buffalo.
John, Kyle Buchanan often finds himself in the right place at the right time, usually because he's hustling. So the shot from up top, Damude comes way off his line to the top of the crease to make a save on a Lucas Nielsen shot. But that rebound, Kyle Buchanan cuts to the middle, finds that prime real estate, and off of Damude's leg, Buchanan scoops up the loose ball. All Damude can do is throw his stick up in hopes of stopping that ball as he was on his wallet after making the first save. Buchanan deposits it into the empty net, and the Bandits have doubled up their lead. 10:38 to play in quarter number one.
And 13th of the season, scoreless last week in Colorado, which was unusual for Buchanan, but like many of the players, and Ian McKay will attest to it from the pregame show of saying, we did not watch the game, we just swept it aside. And they installed a new video technique, which is looking at this game in preparation for Philadelphia. Score, Buffalo!
This time it's Clay Scanlon. Scanlon starts down low and rotates up top around Tyler Pace. And as he's able to catch this pass and run around the pick by Josh Byrne, Scanlon winds and fires it over Damude's right shoulder into the top corner of the net. And Tyler Pace kind of ducks out of the way of that one a little bit. And Scanlon gives Buffalo a 3-0 lead. John, the offense firing on all cylinders so far for the Bandits. Shot 7-2 and the score 3-0.
The pride of Seneca Nation, Clay Scanlon, had a 4-point streak going until he himself scoreless last week in Colorado. Bandits celebrating Native American Heritage Night here at KeyBank Center. Different uniforms. Dave Buchanan will talk more about that. Speaking of Clay Scanlon, he was involved in the design. Dave will update us in just a couple of moments while Resetarits gets a shot away that goes wide. Rebound picked up by Philadelphia. Pipe ticks down on the shot clock. Ball stolen. Buffalo's got it. And now they break out at center. Great move. Former Philadelphia wing Mike McCannell in his second game with the Bandits. Check that third game. Ian McKay now with the ball, tipping it back over. Nielsen now to Smith. There's Manicook with a shot. Boy, you heard it hit the end boards. Rebound, one arm by Nielsen. Carried back out by Philadelphia. 3-0 Buffalo here in the first quarter of play. Philadelphia mounting the attack. Sowers with the ball, in over the line, he goes. Welcome addition to the Wings group. Snell leaves it deep into the corner. Curling back out, Philadelphia using that shot clock perfectly as Reseteras has it, takes a reverse turn. Looking now, top of the slot, drive by O'Neal, scores! And this is where the youngster is very effective, over the top. And Brennan O'Neal scores for Philadelphia.
Yeah, the Bandits very active on the hands of Joe Resetera. It's two defenders making sure that they take away his shooting lane. But then what that allows to happen is O'Neal pops up top. And even with Paul Dawson out there, O'Neal shoots from the restraining line just past the right shin of Matt Vince inside the post. And that is an absolute dart from Brennan O'Neal. And the Wings are on the board with 8:56 to play in quarter number one.
15th of the season for the team's leading scorer, Brennan O'Neal, the first U.S.-born player since 1998 to go first overall in the NLL draft. And he was our guest in the pregame radio show and mentioned the fact that Joey Reseteras has meant so much to him in the development of the game. And like Ian Rubel, the head coach of Philadelphia, will say, you know, these guys are just adjusting to this box game. They're so used to playing field.
Loose ball, Bandits have it.
Brennan O'Neal, one of them, and in his second season, he's learning as much as he can, and the adjustments going side by side with playing as a team, but also adjusting to this box game. And what a shot that he labeled on to break that goose egg off the scoreboard. There's Byrne with a shot that hits the end boards. Rebound picked up by Byrne. Byrne now taken down on the turf, no call, loose ball, long drive just at the closing mark of the shot clock, and it's picked up by Philadelphia. Here's Dave Buchanan. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you, John. Yeah, speaking of Brennan O'Neal, I talked to Ian Rubel and Joe Reseteras this week, and both of them said one of the biggest improvements from year one to year two for O'Neal is his play off the ball. He's got great field vision, he's got a great shot, and he's starting to develop that with his off-ball play as well, too.
He's a big boy, 6'2", 230 pounds. And we saw that shot top of the slot over to get that goose egg off the scoreboard for Philadelphia, but nothing doing with a breakout now for Buffalo. Stops things with 7 minutes, 45 seconds left to play. First quarter, Buffalo has a 3-1 lead over Philadelphia. Three goals in 4 minutes and 40 seconds for the Bandits in their 3-1 lead. Here's Dave Buchanan again.
Thank you very much, John Gertler. And the Bandits are wearing special uniforms tonight for Native American Heritage Night. The jerseys were designed by Bandits forward Clay Scanlon, who we've seen score tonight already, and he credits his brother-in-law Connor Lyons with some of the design elements that went into that jersey, including the two wampum belts, the one along the base of the jersey and also the one along the sleeves. The back of the jersey also features the Haudenosaunee flag, which Clay Scanlon played under during the 2022 U21 World Lacrosse Championships. The jerseys and shorts are being auctioned off online right now, and proceeds will benefit the Allegheny, Newtown, Tonawanda, and Tuscarora Youth Lacrosse programs. And guys, those programs are so huge in developing some of the great Native American players that'll be the next generation of lacrosse talents to come out of Western New York.
Indeed, thank you. As the Bandits celebrate Native American Heritage Night, all sorts of activities on the concourse, and a special halftime with a lot of activities out on the floor with dances and also junior lacrosse play. Little out of the ordinary off-ball action. Josh Byrne a little slow in getting up, and it'll be a double collision. Did not see it because the play was already down into the Philadelphia zone. But Steve and Dave, what did you see from your perspective of what happened to the collision with Josh Byrne. Here's a call.
12, 2 minutes illegal cross-check.
Philadelphia penalty number 12, Liam Patton, 2 minutes for an illegal cross-check. Patton.
So Patton and Byrne colliding in midfield. Damoud made the save and got the whistle. It was stuck in his equipment. And as he popped up and scooped the ball looking for the outlet pass, collision at midfield leaves Josh Byrne a little worse for wear, but a power play for the Bandits.
The #1 power play of the NLL Buffalo Bandits, despite the fact that they did not have a power play for 2 of the 3 games just being played. 90% efficiency. It was one bright point, Steve. They went 3 for 5 last week in Colorado to up that mark, and they entered this evening's game at 72%. Dane Smith, 10 points overall on the power play. We'll watch him from the top of the slot as the quarterback of the power play, and Smith has got the ball right to Byrne with a drive. Damoud with a save. The rebound jumped out to Philadelphia, swiping it back over into the near corner. Good ball by McKay.
Tried to keep possession, but it popped over the glass. The first look for the Bandits tattooed the crossbar. It came all the way back to their own side, no over and back because it hit the post. The second look saved by Damoud. The turnover gives the Wings a chance at least to kill some penalty time.
Michael Sowers showing some nifty moves. The rookie, the 4-time All-Star of the PLL Summer League. Leaving it back over to Fennell now to the right point. Burning more time off on the penalty kill. Taking a twirl. Leaving it out in front. Short-handed score. Philadelphia. Finished off by Joey Reseteras.
What a job here by the Wings. You know, milked a lot of penalty time off, and oftentimes you'll kind of not see a chance come at the end, maybe a shot clock violation, or they dump it into a corner. But Reseteras running out front takes the pass, and as he's falling down, John, does a complete twister. As a righty, the head of his stick is all the way on the left side of his chest as he lets this go. Even with Dylan Robinson right in his pocket. I don't even know how he got a shot away, John, let alone one that beats Matt Vince. And we have a 1-goal game after an incredibly impressive shorthanded goal by the Philadelphia Wings.
Bo Columbus and Connor Farrell battled for the draw. It goes to Buffalo as it's scooped up, and the attack starts now, continuing on the power play for the next 34 seconds. Dane Smith teaming up with Josh Byrne, combining together for several hundred points. Smith letting it go. Damoud getting a piece of that one. Smith again with a shot, and Damoud with another save, and the rebound this time picked up by Philadelphia. And here's another shorthanded opportunity for the Wings. 3-2 Buffalo here in the first quarter of play. In over the line, there's a shot, score! Shorthanded Philadelphia.
John, I was going to say that the Wings had a chance to kill the rest of the penalty with 12 seconds left and 30 on the shot clock, but Scott Dominey sizes up Zach Belter, and then he switches hands to his right hand to get around Zach Belter and find a shooting lane, and he's able to tuck this in just past Matt Vince's right leg. And we're tied, and even more impressively, John, both goals for Philadelphia on the power play for Buffalo. 2 shorthanded goals for the Wings have this game tied.
Scott Dominey spent 5 games on injured reserve. He was a welcome addition last week in their losing effort in San Diego. And certainly even more so tonight with a short-handed goal to tie this one up at 3, as Steve had noted. Buffalo again now trying to get something together offensive. In over the restraining line of Philadelphia's Dane Smith scoots from the far corner to the slot area. Back over to Scanlon, now Byrne with a nifty move. Byrne with a shot. Damoud getting a piece of that one. The rebound picked up by Philadelphia, and they charge back out at center with 5 minutes remaining here in the first quarter of play. Tied at 3. And over the line, the Wings come. Joey Reseteras there settling the croup down, and he'll leave the ball down into the near corner. Whipped out and a low drive. Hard one. That one just off the blade. Left over to the far side, twirling as they go again with another shot. Hearing the end boards and the hard shot, but the rubber is picked up by Buffalo in a 3-on-2 dash inside the Philadelphia zone with a drive. That one a hard one by Mike McCannell on his former team.
John, did you see Steve Priolo on that one, running out in front of Mike McCannell, waving his arms, saying, come on, foot on the gas. Don't wait for offense. We're taking this to the net. That shot just goes wide.
Philadelphia is shooting 50% from the floor. Tied at 3. Shots on goal favoring Buffalo 14-6. Now top of the slot. There's another drive. That goes over Ben Cromer. Rebound picked up by Philadelphia. Resetting the shot clock, and Philadelphia will get close. They built a 4-1 lead in game number 1 against San Diego. Game 2, they had a 4-2 lead. Fortunately, losing both in the home-and-home series between these two clubs. Now a penalty coming up against Buffalo, and it is stopped with 3 minutes 33 seconds. They got to stop the clock. They got to put at least 3 more seconds on the clock there because they let it go. Get that one figured out. Here's the call.
Buffalo penalty to number 4. 2 minutes delay game. Defender acting like a goaltender in the crease.
Chris Williams, the crew chief, Ryan Wilson, and Simon DeSosa, the referees. Herbie John, the shot clock operator. The NLL on ESPN is brought to you by STX Lacrosse and Nike Lacrosse. The NLL on ESPN is brought to you by STX Lacrosse and Nike Lacrosse, official equipment providers of the NLL. By TFL Sports, collect the stars of the National Lacrosse League with officially licensed trading cards. And by StubHub, your home for tickets to the speed and intensity of the NLL. Back to the turf and review of the penalty, Steve, that puts Ian McKay in the box.
Yeah, called for delay of game for acting like a goaltender in the crease. A lot of folks kind of called this the Buffalo rule because of the Bandits' tendency to block shots. And you see McKay just step into the orange turf in front of Matt Vince. Now, you're allowed in the crease if you're defending against a dunk or a shot from behind the net. But that's not the case there as McKay kind of strides through the crease as the shot comes on goal. And called for 2 minutes delay of game, and the Wings now with the chance to take their first lead after 2 special teams shorthanded goals tied this game up.
46% efficiency on the power play for the Wings, 12 for 26. O'Neill with 10 points on the power play. Buffalo's penalty kill 4th overall, 58%. Colorado last week with 3 for 5. There is a shot straight on. And up a turn, and Cromer, ball goes all the way back down into Philadelphia territory. 2 shorthanded goals so far for Philadelphia, and here is the leading scorer for the team. Second-year pro, Brendan O'Neill. In over the line, he goes of Buffalo. Blaze Reardon, top of the slot, now to the near side. Reseteras, O'Neill. Reseteras getting closer, trying to find an opening. We'll let go back to O'Neill. O'Neill with a shot, score! Philadelphia, they take the lead 4-3.
John, we talked in the open about how if you let Joe Reseteras shoot, he's going to make you pay. But you also can't forget about what a great shooter Brendan O'Neill is. Just like the last goal that he scored, Buffalo with a concerted effort. You see sticks to hands immediately when Joe Reseteras gets the ball. He flips it out to O'Neill, who strides down twice, and right from the KeyBank Center logo, the sidearm shot beats Matt Vince. And the Wings with a 4-3 lead after trailing 3-0 A 4-goal run for the Wings with 2:40 to play in quarter number 1.
I got ourselves a game.
First off, he said, I got to get used to playing tight quarters because of the field game. Anticipating the spacing, as he said. And Steve, talk about spacing. He had a couple of chances there of winding it up. It took 2 or 3 steps before he let that powerful shot go.
Yeah, that's a result of Buffalo being shorthanded too, John. A little harder to step out to that when you have 4 guys kind of passively in front of Matt Vince killing the penalty. So that gives him that room. But a good sidearm shot by O'Neill did beat Vince. But, you know, maybe 5-on-5, the Bandits do have someone out there to take away a little more space.
Here come the Bandits down into the Philadelphia zone. Josh Byrne leaving it back over. And Dane Smith goes to work. The dynamic duo. Quick stick shot. Damu sweeping down to make a pad save, and the rebound comes back out at center. Quick moving Philadelphia on the transition. In over the line. Ball carried. Scott Dominey, one of the goal scorers tonight, leaving it back as fire wagon change goes for Philadelphia. Tracy Kelusky, former Buffalo Bandit assistant coach and former head coach of Panther City, sending his top squad out. There's a shot on shoulder, saved by Matt Vince. Rebound along the far corner. Dawson in pursuit, but Philadelphia's got it. Brennan O'Neill fires the ball back over to Joey Reseteras, who directs traffic to the low side. Cromer is there, or Sam LeClaire, I should say. Picked up now by Reseteras. Ball picked up and stolen by Buffalo, and a breakaway for the Bandits. Damoud with the save.
Damoud has slammed the door on the Bandits. Nick Weiss with a clean intercept of a pass and about as clear-cut of a breakaway as you could get. He makes his move, and Damoud stones him. And Philadelphia back on offense with a 1-goal lead.
Saved by Matt Vince, hitting the high netting.
Still Philadelphia ball.
Ball will go to Philadelphia with 44 seconds remaining, and Philadelphia with a 1-goal lead, 4-3.
Yeah, Weiss trying to pop that over Damoud's right shoulder, and a great job. Damoud sticks that arm up, shoulder up, takes away the top of the net.
Long drive by O'Neill, blocked into traffic by Buffalo. Now here's a break for the Bandits. Ready to carry the lane. Smith with a shot on Damoud with a save. Rebound jumps out. 30 seconds left to play into the first quarter. And Philadelphia's got the ball. In over the line they go, but hang on. Stoppage in play, and Philadelphia decides to take a timeout with 23.9 seconds remaining. So Ian Rubel, the head coach of Philadelphia, will team up with Tracy Kelusky. Also, Pat McCready works on defense. The two, Kelusky and McCready, former Buffalo Bandits.
Another save by Damoud on Dane Smith there in transition, right? The Bandits get out quickly, end up with a 3-on-2. You feed it to Dane Smith, who's all alone out front. And Damoud, a little bit of a shaky start. You know, the Bandits score 3 on him quickly, but he has since absolutely stonewalled the Bandits offense. And I was surprised after he made that save, John. I was pointing because he was kind of hesitant to go to the bench, and Philadelphia should hold for last possession here. They end up calling their timeout. The shot clock is off. So with 23.9 to go, they'll draw something up. And as always, John, we usually see the offense hold the ball, and then with about 8 seconds, 7 seconds to play, they'll run a set play to try to make sure they get the last shot. The last thing you would want to do is give Buffalo the ball with an empty net the other way. So the Wings will have drawn up their offensive play here, and they will run a 6-on-5 set.
See if the Wings can continue to meet the challenge of head coach Ian Rubel. Trying to get a full 60 minutes of consistency. He also said, I want them hungry to get loose balls, to capture in possession. See what happens here, 23.9 seconds. Perfect as Blaze Reardon stops it up. Finnell from the far corner, Reardon over to LeClaire. He's got Reseteras with him at left as Reardon now with 10 seconds remaining. LeClaire top of the slot now to Joey Reseteras as we start to cycle. And the Wings swarming around. 2 seconds remaining. He'll try to get a shot away, but couldn't get a focus on there. So 17-12 in shots favoring Buffalo, but Philadelphia scores 2 shorthanded goals, 1 power play goal, and another even strength in the 4-3 lead after 1 quarter of play here from the KeyBank Center in celebration of the Creators Game, Native American Heritage Night. Bandits jump out to a 3-0 lead in the first 4 minutes and 40 seconds of quarter number 1. Then Philadelphia comes back. And Steve, here's kind of a tale of the tape of desperate times between these two clubs.
Yeah, in general, it sounds so cliche, John, but teams say all the time they want to score more than 10 and give up less than 10. And if you look at this graphic, no surprise that you have losing streaks when you're scoring less than 10 and giving up more than 10. It's such a simple mantra. You know, score 11 and give up 9 and you're going to win a lot of games. And as simple as that sounds, it's a lot easier said than done, as proven by these two clubs in their losing streaks this season.
Here's a call for the Native American Scholarship. Applications are now open for the Native American Scholarship, awarded to a local student of Native American descent who is currently attending a college or university. You can apply today at bandits.com/scholarship.
Second quarter action.
Here we go for quarter number 2.
Need your help. Can't sit on your hands here. We got to get pumped up.
Bandits with the ball immediately carried back behind the net. Steve Priolo one-arms it over to Ian McKay. Now flipped by Buchanan to Dane Smith. With a nifty deke, Smith from the top of the slot back over to Buchanan with a shot. Damoud right at the line.
Damoud didn't have that ball, and Buchanan saw it loose, but the official says that Buchanan stepped through the crease, meaning he is ineligible to be the next player to touch the ball. A perfect pick and roll between 91 and 92, but Damoud again closes off that post and keeps Buchanan's shot out.
4-3 Philadelphia. Second quarter of play here at KeyBank Center. Fans still filing in. Single digits temperatures. Winds are supposed to increase tonight to some 30 to 70 miles per hour, making the wind chill anywhere from 30 to 40 below zero as Buffalo comes back into the Philadelphia zone. Good heads-up play by Zach Belter, who we welcome back to the turf after time served with an injury. Nielsen with the ball from the slot area, looking for a shot. Elects to go to Josh Byrne with that drive, and Damoud reads that one perfectly.
Josh Byrne gets a look from a great spot. Nielsen kind of draws some attention as he winds up to shoot from up top. It opened up a lane for Byrne. He kicks it over to him, but shoots it right into the belly of Damoud.
Philadelphia on the attack down into the Bandits zone. Quick change to put the offense back out there. Ball into the line with Blaze Reardon, now tipping it top of the slot. Jackson leaving it down into the far corner. Twirling with the ball with a shot on. Rezateras with it. And Matt Vince making a save. Rebound back out to center. Nick Weiss approaching the restraining line of Philadelphia. Elects to go over to Dane Smith. open up the scoring of tonight's game. Smith tipping it back over now. Tipping it back to the far side. Shot by Ian McKay. Scanlon gets himself into position while Buchanan directs traffic to McKay and Josh Byrne trying to get a look for him. Now to Smith, back over in front of McKay, scores! Tie game with Ian McKay.
John, I think I can hear the Bandits offense exhale a little bit on that one. Damoud's been really solid. And the way they beat him this time, they work the ball to the middle and McKay cuts in. And as he approaches the crease, he fakes a shot and Damoud just keeps kind of moving off his line, which is just trying to take away a shooting lane. McKay goes up in the air, does a little bit of an airwalk while hovering in the crease, but with Damoud coming off of his line, similar to what we saw on the Buchanan goal when Nielsen shot, he saved it. He comes off his line and that gives McKay an opportunity to put it over his shoulder and behind him. And the Bandits able to tie the game at 4, scoring first here in the second quarter.
12th goal of the season for McKay. Dane Smith and Josh Byrne have assisted in now 78 goals by McKay so far in his career. Tie this game up at 4. Top of the slot, Philadelphia goes. O'Neill elects to go to the far side. Now to the near side, whirling back behind the net. Jackson is there, couldn't make the connection on the quick stick. And Buffalo charges back out to center. 4-4 the score here in the second. Very quickly, ball is cleared by McCannell. Back down into Philadelphia's corner is Ian McKay. Scoots back out. Here's Nielsen with the ball. Near side is Dehuk and Nanticoke. Let's see if he goes to beast mode. Nanticoke feeds it out in front. Feathering shot by Nielsen, stopped by Damoud, and here comes Philadelphia back out to center.
John, we keep talking about Damoud coming off of his line. Then you have Matt Vince, who is so tight in his net, just the way he's always played. His bottom is almost always inside the net mouth because he plays so deep in his net versus some goaltenders that play more aggressive.
Good passing for Philadelphia down into the Bandits zone. Joey Reseteras with the ball. Try to twirl around. There's a shot on. Shot clock is reset. However, Buffalo comes up with the ball and will be cleared down the left wing lane. Like 4 minutes of this second quarter. Score tied at 4. In over the restraining line of Philadelphia goes Dane Smith. He's got Nanticoke with him, and now Byrne from the far corner. Top of the slot. There's a wind-up shot blocked off the side of one of the Philadelphia defenders. Damoud leaves the ball all the way back down into Buffalo territory. Scooped up by the wings. Very quickly. Ryan Wagner got a piece of that one. They score again. Philadelphia. Just relentless. And a good transition and quite a night so far for second-year pro Brendan O'Neill.
Yeah, the outlet pass from Damoud takes a funny bounce in midfield, and instead of hopping up in the air to Ryan Wagner, it kind of rolled on the turf, but Wagner puts on the turbo and scoops the loose ball anyway, picks his head up and sees Brendan O'Neill cutting in the middle, and as O'Neill winds up, he twists the shot from his left side to over his right shoulder, because Dane Smith, I believe, was taking the shooting lane away in reverse transition, but that twister beats Matt Vince on the left side, and the Wings restore their lead. 10:34 to play in the first half.
Since he was the first American-born player since 1998 to be drafted first overall, so what do you say to the young kids now who are trying to get involved with box? He said, first and foremost, just tell them to watch the box game, watch the nuances, put that game down, and learn this game and get involved. He said too, if there's an NLL game, watch it and then re-watch it. 5-4 Philadelphia here in this second quarter of play. They've got the ball from the top of the slot. Set up by Leclerc, now to the near side to Fennell. Fennell looking for a space, and he's got it, takes the shot. Vince with the save. The rebound scooped up by Buffalo, trying to tame the ball to the near side. Shoveling move to get it back out to center. Double teamed on a good press by Philadelphia, but it's a break now for Nick Weiss. Here's Weiss scooting into the far corner. Looking for it. There's a shot on. That's blocked off the side of Damoon, and ball is cleared out by Philadelphia. Here we go, end-to-end action while the Wings set up the play again. Eric Fennell, whose daddy played for the Bandits, leaves it off to the far corner. Play set up now. Ball in front. Fennell taken down hard on the turbo. Hits the goal post left side. The Bandits retained by Philadelphia. They'll get a reset of the shot clock as well. Brendan O'Neill now with it from the near boards. Twirls around. He's got his compadres with him. Very impressive ball movement tonight for Philadelphia. And a penalty coming up against the Bandits. Looks like Belter created an infraction, so the sixth attacker is out now for the Wings. Into the line they come. Rasataris leaving it over. O'Neill with a drive. Good save by Matt Vince. And the second power play opportunity coming up for Philadelphia. As Belter goes to the box. Sights and sounds here at KeyBank Center. Let's go closer with Dave Buchanan.
Thanks, John. As we kind of documented tonight, the Bandits offense has been struggling this season, especially in this 3-game losing streak where they've managed to score only 9 goals in each of those games. I talked to Ian McKay this morning. He said the team kind of got back to basics at practice on Wednesday, not really worrying about diagramming specific plays, just trying to jumpstart the offense by getting back to basics. And one other thing Ian told me is that he needs to get more to playing a better game inside and setting picks for his teammates and also getting those inside shots, which is exactly what we saw him do on the goal he just scored a few minutes ago.
Yeah, he's got to lead the way, Dave Buchanan, for the rest of the team to get on the same page. Get some more consistency going right now. The call by head coach John Tavares. I want to see some more consistency of play. Capturing good ball movement, creative shots, and lots of goals being scored. But Philadelphia is on the attack now with their second power play opportunity. 1:35 remaining. The call to Zach Belter. O'Neill from the top of the slot, the quarterback of the power play. Leaves it now back behind for Reardon. A diving shot from the left side, turned and sealed by goaltender Matt Vince.
Even on the man down, John, Steve Priolo making a very concerted effort to fly out to Brendan O'Neill every time he gets the ball because he's burned him so many times. And we mentioned being shorthanded, it's harder to take it away. You watch Steve Priolo hustle out to the top anytime that O'Neill got a look there to try to take away that outside shot.
James Smith getting a little lead from Dehuka Nanakok, and Smith will burn more time off Belter's penalty. Feeding the ball in front. There's a shot by Nanakok that goes wide. Rebound picked up by Philadelphia, charging back out at center. Right to the restraining line of Buffalo. Liam Patton, former Bandit. Off to the side now to Eric Fennell. Kyle Jackson just recently picked up by Philadelphia. Top of the slot as he works the power play from behind the net. Now Philadelphia whisking that ball. Line up O'Neill. Diving shot by Fennell over the shoulder of Matt Vince. Nothing doing on the shot clock, and it's Buffalo with the ball. Now a mad dash on the shorthanded opportunity. 2-on-1. There's a shot by Priolo. Save Damoon. 10 seconds left in the penalty to Zach Belter. 5-4 Philadelphia here in the second. Philadelphia very quick. And a quick stick shot that goes off the wrong strings and cleared back out by Buffalo. Belter fresh from the box as Paul Dawson cradles the ball. Tips it now over to Buchanan as Buffalo goes to work offensively on a 5-on-5. They're going to pull goaltender Matt Vince. A penalty coming up. I apologize. against Philadelphia. So the sixth attacker is out. There is Dean Smith, very quick, trying to get it over to McKay with a second effort. That goes wide. And now from one penalty to another, and one team to another, with the man advantage coming up for Buffalo again. #1 in the NLL in power play efficiency.
And the Wings special teams were perfect to this point. 2 shorthanded goals on the Bandits' last power play, and they were perfect on the power play before the Bandits were able to kill that penalty.
Philadelphia bench penalty, 2 minutes, illegal substitution, served by the in-home.
So it looks like as the Bandits got out in transition,
Philadelphia bench marker for
the Wings made the substitution a little too quickly. Player has to be inside the box in front of the bench before another player can come out. So the Bandits will hope for a better result on this power play, John. -2 on the last one. Not only did they not score a power play goal, the Wings scored 2 shorties.
We got to get one right here, baby.
So Smith with his 10 power play points will be the quarterback at the top of the slot as the ball moved around. Burn to Smith. Smith with a dink, taking a shot. Damoud got a piece of that one, or did he? Yes, he did. Shot clock reset. Burn. Moving it back over from the top of the slot is Smith. An errant pass finding a backup now, and there's a quick stick by Tehoka Nanticoke, but hang on here.
In and out of the crease on Philadelphia. An unbelievable save by Damoud on that quick stick from Nanticoke, but the defender picked up the ball outside the crease and ran back into the crease, awarding Buffalo possession back.
Smith with a shot. Damoud getting a piece of that one. Very quick ball movement by Buffalo. Buchanan looking far side back over to McKay. Couldn't hang on to it. McKay's got it, however. That's a 3 tic-tac-toe score! Nanticoke.
The Bandits power play finally finding some success. Knock, knock, knocking on the door. Couldn't kick it down. Damoud with 3 saves on that penalty kill prior to them scoring, including a beauty on a quick stick from Nanticoke, but the Bandits reset it again. McKay digs the loose ball out from the end boards, comes back out front, sends it across crease to Nanticoke, and Damoud gets over here, John. He gets that right leg and his right hand out to the near side post, but just not quick enough, as that ball movement gives Tehoka Nanticoke a chance to pop it into the net short side. We're tied at 5 with 5 to play in the first half.
Well, Tehoka, who had a career-high 5 points last week in the Bandits' losing effort to Colorado. Now 8 goals in his last 6 games. Much needed in the secondary scoring for Buffalo is that #1, Tehoka Nanticoke. And Steve, you had mentioned about the beast mode that he loves to do in front of the net. And now, speaking of front of the net, shot straight on.
That's a huge save by Matt Vince. Both defenders go up to the high man. No one stays back to play crease. So Matt Vince left all alone on an island. But that's a great save by 48.
McKay couldn't handle that one. Philadelphia returns right away. There's Fennell with a shot saved by Matt Vince. 2 big ones. The 8-time goaltender of the year, Matt Vince. Here's Buffalo with a long shot. Ball intercepted by Philadelphia. And a mad dash making the transition. Fennell coming up with it. He'll power his way in front. Vince again with the save. Now Buffalo in their transition. Back out to center. Steve Priola. Tipping it to a fast-running Kyle Buchanan. 3:45 remaining here in the first half. 5-5 to score. Classic seesaw battle back and forth. Bouncing ball to the left side of Damoud. Well, they've stopped things here at KeyBank Center in the celebration of Native American Heritage Night. 5-5 to score. Coming up, halftime report here from KeyBank Center, brought to you by The Game. First half highlights with Coach Burns, our popular segment. Take a look around the NLL and NLL Wired. Halftime here at KeyBank Center. Fans kind of just, Steve, I think they're a little, well, one, they're cold. Two, they're kind of stunned. But loving the fact that the game is tied at 5. You wouldn't want it any other way. You got two desperate teams right now. Desperate times call for desperate situations. In Philadelphia, giving Buffalo everything they can handle right now in this game. Kyle Jackson setting things up for the fellas, and a diving shot score, Philadelphia. Michael Sowers finally on the board with his nifty moves.
Philadelphia going to take a 6-5 lead with 3:11 to play. Sowers makes a move and gets just around Cam Wires, and even with Nick Weiss coming to help, Sowers too quick to get to the top of the crease. And as he pops up in the air, he's able to tuck this behind Matt Vince and give Philadelphia their third one-goal lead of the game. And a great effort there by Michael Sowers. Shots 28-23 Buffalo, but scores 6-5 in favor of Philly.
All right, 6 Philadelphia goal. Score number 22,
Bandits
Michael
looking
Sowers. Assist, number 47,
get back in this
Kyle
game
Jackson.
and tie it up.
And number 43, Eric Fidel. Sowers from Jackson and Fidel.
Buffalo from the corner in the Philadelphia zone. Byrne back into his composure, getting a little help. Kicked along the side as well. Wires trying to help things out right now. And scrum ensues along the far boards. Finally broken free and hang on here. Stop things, and ball will go back to Buffalo.
Looks like Philadelphia might have pinned the ball there. So the Bandits awarded possession. Good work by Cam Wires. Kind of lost it off the face-off, but able to force that infraction by Philadelphia to give the Bandits offense possession.
Byrne with the ball. He's got Smith with him on the dash. Here's Smith shooting. Debut making the save right at the goal line. Inches that ball away from oozing across in Philadelphia on the attack. 2:24 remaining. Second quarter. 6-5 Philadelphia. They've got the ball down into the Bandit zone. O'Deal, who's got a hat trick so far, wheels it back over to the far side and picked up by Jackson. He'll twirl around, leaving it out in front. Hit the goal post left side of Matt Vince. Rebound Buffalo. Back down the left wing side they come. All carried by Nick Weiss. Right to the restraining line of Philadelphia, waiting for the front door to open up and the change being made. With the forwards out there. Dawson is also out there to help as well. Now Buffalo looking to complete things here with 1:44 and counting left to play into this first half. Byrne, quick pass back over to Buchanan. Buchanan, nifty move, takes the shot just to the left side of Debut. In the crease area, so to be Philadelphia with ease out of their own zone.
Good chance there for Buchanan. Back-to-back possessions. Dane Smith with a little shimmy gets himself set up on the crease. Kyle Buchanan able to get a move down to the crease, but both turned away. That time a crease violation. Philadelphia will try to expand their lead to 2 here with this possession.
Brendan O'Neill with the ball, wheeling it back and forth, and now on a run from the near board, scooting back out from the slot area, tipping it to the far side, in front, trying to set up Leclerc on a quick stick, but Buffalo's got the ball.
Might be the last chance to try to
Clearing it back out is Priolo. Setting things up for McKay. He's backed up nicely. There's Priolo, scores!
Ian McKay a little hobbled along the far side corner boards. But a broken play as the Bandits try to get out in transition and get a chance. A dropped pass looked like it was going to be a turnover, but instead the Bandits come up with it. Clay Scanlon pops it to Steve Priolo, and John Priolo hit the double, triple clutch. Fake shot, and once again gets Damu to come off his line, right? Damu's not setting the net. Damu sneaks up, and Priolo able to wrap that ball into the top corner. A great shot by the Bandits captain, affectionately called Coast to Coast Priolo by in-house PA announcer Chris Swenson. That time it was pick the corner Priolo on the double clutch from the slot.
6-game point streak now for Priolo. 28 points against Philadelphia. So Priolo tying this game up with 38 seconds remaining here in this first half. Shoveling move by Weiss. In over the line goes Dane Smith. He's got the big guns out there with him. Now elects to go to Ian McKay with a nifty move. Back and front low drive. Saved by Damu. Ball is cleared out. Good pressure on by some forechecking by Buffalo. And the turnover finds the Bandits with the ball. And they're going to call timeout with 15.7 seconds remaining.
John, you mentioned the forecheck there. That forced that turnover because Damu makes the save. Remember, Philadelphia already used their timeout at the end of the first quarter. So Philadelphia couldn't call timeout and gather themselves. Damu steps out of the crease to avoid the 4 seconds in the crease. And as he looks for outlets, Josh Byrne pushing up the floor takes them away. And he throws it to midfield. Steve Priolo steps up and intercepts the ball. And the Bandits still having their timeout call it. 15.7 on the clock. Tie game at 6, and they're going to draw up their 6-on-5 play to try to go into the half with a lead. Which at this point, John, might feel like a Herculean feat because they've been chasing the Wings for the better part of a quarter and a half.
My little Hercules. Dave, urgency down on bench level. Can you sense it?
Yeah, John, they were, John Tavares was anticipating Buffalo getting that last possession, ready to call the timeout as soon as the change of possession happened before they drew up this play. The bench hasn't gotten down too much here, even as Philadelphia climbed back into the game and even took the lead. But obviously, they're hoping to go into the locker room one up here if they can get this final possession to go.
So Vince gets an early rest. The sixth attacker is out. For Buffalo, Dane Smith will start it up. He's got Byrne with him at right. Deep to the near side is Dehoka Nanako. Buchanan in a familiar position just to the right side of Damu. 7 seconds remaining. Time ticking down. Buffalo on the move. Here is a shot by McKay, and it goes off the side of a Philadelphia defender. And now, why not? Sticks got up, pushing and shoving. Palm sandwiches. Could have a yard sale coming up here pretty soon. Some grill pulling, and why not? 2 teams desperate to get back into the win column. Skidlet comes off of Dehoka Nanako. And the officiating staff in there to settle things down, but it's a verbal barb right now. As we go to halftime, 6-6 the score. Steve, you wouldn't want to have it any other way with 2 teams right now looking for a victory.
Yeah, both backed into the corner, coming out swinging. The Wings don't want to lose 7 in a row. The Bandits don't want to lose 4 in a row. In that half, back and forth we went, tied up at 6. John, I like Damu with his arms crossed, just watching everything unfold in front of him there on the other side of the crease.
No more goalie fights. 31-24 in shots. Buffalo tied at 6. Coach Burns coming up after this timeout for the game halftime report.
Check. Oh, there I am. Oh, I can hear me. Oh, you didn't? Yep. Yeah, I can roll with that. let's go. Can you hear me? Let's go with Dane first. Then we'll go with O'Neill, the 3 goals that he's got. Then we'll talk about those 2 markers on the shorthand because that's the difference in the game right now. Yeah. Yep. Coming up. Sure.
The feature is the highlights of the first part of the season, so they've got a package together. So I can just set you up, Randy, talking about, yapping going out of the turf along with instructions and calls from the coaches. Say,
it's all like
great part about the game. It's just snippets.
All the NLL.
The best of what so far for.
Coming up. You know what's weird? My left ear, I can't hear anything.
Look at that. What do you got?
Check.
You should have it in the middle.
There we go. No, I feel good now. I think I feel good.
He's deaf in one ear.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I think he said it.
Uh-huh. Hey, Gertz.
How are you, buddy?
Great, man.
John,
great Hall of Fame ceremony we had. Good. 2 former Bandits.
Who?
Chris Clark, old school. John Lancey,
wow.
old school. Scotty Loeffler.
I'm sorry, what are we doing now? We're starting out with what?
We're going Dane, 1 and 2. We're going O'Neill, 3 goals. Then we're going to talk about the 2 short man goals with Joey Rez, the twister, and then Domini actually switching hands. Nipissing University product from Jason Rudge.
Who?
Oh, yeah. I got a haircut, too. Feeling good.
Cool and crisp night. That's an understatement. Wind chill factors of 25 to 30 below with 70-mile-per-hour winds forecasted for later this evening here in Buffalo. A game tonight here at KeyBank Center. Score is tied at 6. Time for Coach Mearns. John Gertler and Randy Mearns with you this evening. And Coach, how about this game tonight? Everything back and forth, seesaw battle. You wouldn't want to have it any other way.
No, it's a real good game. It was frosty cold walking over from the Pearl Street. We had the Western New York Lacrosse Hall of Fame inducting ceremony today, which was great. But it's back and forth. Nicky DeMood's playing phenomenal in the nets for Philadelphia. Here, didn't make this save, though, on Dane Smith. That was a good rotation. There was a seal. You don't see it, but Kyle Buchanan cleared that space, and Dane goes high to low. Dane in that corner. All of a sudden, there's Buchanan again, and boom, falls through. But hey, there's Kyle Buchanan picking up the garbage. Real quick stick, real shifty. And again, you got Dane gonna filter here. Josh Byrne gonna roll it over, finding Dane, and he finds Ian McKay on the backside. He goes airborne a little bit, goes up over top at the beautiful goal.
How about the setup now for the shorthanded goals? Brendan O'Neill having a pretty good game so far with a hat trick, and boy, they started things out just capitalizing on shorthanded situations.
Well, they certainly do. Brendan O'Neill, you got to guard him. Obviously, coming from Duke, he's got this release all the way over top, reminiscent of Cody Jamieson from the Halifax Thunderbirds. It's straight over the top. It's so hard to kind of see, and he's got this twister, and he's throwing a lot of heat. Johnny. You see it here.
Domini now with the opportunity and leaving it back. Look at O'Neill being so big right at the moment. He just takes the command of it. And obviously, you want somebody like that right now, along with Joey Rezateris, to set up the play. Yeah,
and then just rolls up over the top. And again, you see that stroke all the way up and over. Matty Vince is trying to go near side. He goes far side. And here, you can't let him just sit. You got to get to his hands. You got to approach. You got to get out into that shooting lane. And then here's the transition. Watch this twister. Nobody finds the guy coming late. There he is, Brendan up on top. And he just comes up over the top. Twister, top cheese. And the Philadelphia Wings are glad that the Duke superstar is playing in Philadelphia for sure.
Sure enough, with the game tonight in a situation where Philadelphia, again, losers of 6 straight games. Coach Ian Rubel said that we're looking for consistency right at the moment, similar to the fact that what Coach Tavares is saying right now to the Bandits, looking for consistency and to pull things out on a winning margin.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you want to have all those things in the game going well. Consistency, you know, but you're trying to still figure out who your players are. What's that chemistry? And you'll see the big part of this game is Philadelphia's got 2 shorthanded goals. John Tavares cannot be happy about that. You're going to see it here, right? It's a 4-on-5 situation. Playing in the ball here, and this is Joey Resetaritz, former Hamburg product. He just throws a little twister between Matty Vince's legs. And then Scott Dominey, Nipissing University, Jason Rudge got to be proud. He switches hands. He's a Canadian guy. He goes right-handed. He's a typical left. And he goes, and again, you see O'Neill from way, way out. And that's the difference right now, Johnny.
Definitely over top as a prime location for Brendan O'Neill, fueling his club with those 3 goals and not only power plays but also shorthanded situations. First half stats, Randy, can you tell the tape right at the moment? Yeah, you know, Buffalo's kind of controlling the game. The big margin on the loose balls, but Nicky DeMude making some key saves, 24 saves. Buffalo shooting. Again, turnovers, yeah, they're kind of relative, 15 to 11. Again, 1 for 2, 1 for 3 in the power play. That's haven't really been a huge issue other than the short-handed markers for the Philadelphia Wings. You don't see that in the stats. Halftime report brought to you by The Game continues after this timeout. Celebrating the creators game of lacrosse, as mentioned at the start of tonight's game, for centuries. Lacrosse being played on a wide open territory, no boundaries, 1 tree on each side, wherever the boundaries were a part of the goals. And the Native American group continued to grow this game, and we're celebrating it tonight, a Native American Heritage Night in the creators game. What a wonderful game we're seeing right now. John Gertler Randy Burns with you this evening. And Randy, speaking about this great game, how about the Western New York Lacrosse Hall of Fame?
Yeah, we had our induction ceremony this afternoon before the game. Very connected to the Buffalo Bandits. Scott Loeffler was inducted in terms of as a contributor. He's the senior director of lacrosse operations for the Bandits. A couple other former Bandits, Chris Clark, going in as an officiator, as a referee, and old school Johnny Lancey, way back in 1992-93, won a championship here in Buffalo. So it was pretty awesome. Longtime coach Hamburg, Jerry Severino, coach Joey Resiteritz, who's playing for the Philadelphia Wings, and Mike Wright got in. He's a guy that's been doing minor lacrosse, Buffalo Lacrosse Academy, for about 20 years now in Western New York, helping this game grow, and that's the big thing. Great event, 10 inductees, awesome event. Thank you, Tom Sutton and Beth Stone and Leanne Frankowick for setting that up.
What a wonderful evening it is here in Buffalo with the celebration of Native American Heritage Night and the celebration of the Western New York Lacrosse Hall of Fame. Now, let's talk about the second half of play. Randy, what should viewers and listeners look for with the Bandits and the Wings?
Well, here's what I think from a Bandit standpoint, defensive-wise, you can't let Brendan O'Neill, to the best of your ability, get his hands free. He's got range, he's got accuracy, and he's throwing the ball. He's throwing the ball about 102 miles an hour. You can't let him get set up to shoot. I felt Buffalo had some good transition opportunities, but some of them just didn't click. The last one, though, with Steve Priolo tying this thing up at 6 was big. I think if they can push that, Philadelphia's a little bit slow getting off if Buffalo can get that transition, those 3-on-2 opportunities.
They need that from Steve Priolo, and the transition for Buffalo that pays so much on a good dividend value each game, but also they need more production from the offense. And leading it away is number 22, Josh Byrne, and Dane Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. Being up top, just kind of watching the game, it seems that Buffalo settles for tough angle shots, and maybe that's because of the Philadelphia Wing defense. They're kind of giving them not the inside, not the heart. They're kind of pushing them to the outside. So, Ian McKay was able to score one coming down on that sharp alley. That's great, but it's so hard to score from there, and I feel like Buffalo's kind of settling on those shots early in a shot clock where maybe they can continue to grind and move the ball.
Over the course of seasons, this season in particular, NLL Wired has been very popular with the viewers, and so the NLL club put together not only snippets of the games that have been played so far in the NLL, and Randy, you being a former player, you've been able to talk to players out on the turf, and then you hear from the coaches, and there's a lot of bantering going back and forth, and there's also some pretty good yapping as well. Yeah,
there certainly is a lot of chirping, and it's great for the for the fans to kind of see what happens out on the floor. Sometimes I wish I was Dave Buchanan in between the boards, because you really get a real flavor for what it is. You got the officials, you got the coaches, you got the players, and how the game goes. And you realize the communication on the floor is just so important. If you don't talk, especially on the defensive side, you're going to mess up. And if you don't communicate with your teammate, that's just probably going to lead a goal for somebody else in your opponents.
And here are the highlights so far of the 25-26 season, NLL Wired.
We have got to go through the middle. Get better spacing. When the ball moves, hit it. Move! I'd like better body language right now. We'd like better body language.
Do the little things right like we've been doing, and we'll leave here with the win.
There is times when you're a little frozen in transition. You're like, no one knows what to do. You're beside a guy. That's when you can just put him into the crease.
Who else but Lyle? Who else but Lyle?
If I get him on the spin seal again, you got to come over top of me.
I know, I got to shoot it. Hey, they're obviously going behind every time. Go, 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 Matt. Go, Matt. Back door, back door.
I'm up, I'm up. I'll call net. You want here, Bill? You want here?
I'm low, I'm low, I'm low. Fire, 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 fire.
I know you two are so sensitive.
What's that?
I didn't know you two were so sensitive.
No, we're not sensitive.
Take notes, baby. Take notes.
Left side.
Yeah.
Like for you to get inside that.
I feel like sometimes it's easier to open outside, and then if I'm already going that way, then I'll just stay going that way.
Here we go, baby. Let's go. The longer the 30 goes, the more we're going to wear them down and get exactly what we want.
Yeah! Come on, baby! Come on! Give me some! How do I mark this? Hey, let's keep this up, right? Let's go. Come on now.
I'd rather us get higher on the 3 than show from the 2.
Why am I mad? Tell me why I'm mad. Be on the board when we make a good play. It's kind of lifeless in here. Go, go, go hard! Get our legs here!
Here we go! Let him hear it! Let him hear it! First of many. First of many here, boys. Let's go!
Attaboy, Pooch. Way to grind. Way to grind.
Get that ball. Can you get that ball? If you get that ball. Yo, player intros and national anthem. It was goosebumps. There's a lot of emotion. Debut, man. Good job. Good job, John. Love you, dog. Bang!
I hear, there we go. Yes. Copy that. I'm comfortable with either or. I can just simply say what.
Welcome back here, Buffalo Bandits.
Copy.
With a goal and 3 assists, Dave Buchanan with Dane Smith.
Dane, you guys jumped out to that lead before Philadelphia came back. What went right there at the start of the game?
Yeah, just putting pressure on them, dictating all night, offensively and defensively, and Matt's been unbelievable through in the pipes.
How big of a juice goal, though, is it to get it from your captain there to tie it right before the end of the half?
Oh, it's amazing. Anytime our defense or Tranny can get an opportunity like that, it gets some offensive momentum.
Thanks, Dane. Good luck.
Thank you.
Face-off situation, very critical going into a game like this. So the second half, Philadelphia 5 wins to Buffalo's 9. So Steve Hermel, very important for Connor Farrell to tune it up even further for the second half of play. If Buffalo wants to get back into this game and get as many possessions as they can. Interesting to note as well by Coach Mearns saying they've got to control the ball and get some prime scoring opportunities.
Still trying to get it.
Maybe too much whipping passes back and forth, and maybe just get some shots on goal. You never know. Pucks to the net, as they would say in the hockey business.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Buffalo move the ball a lot. You know, Nanacoke on the power play goal comes to mind with the hot ball movement. But if you have to look, you got to take it, especially someone like Dane Smith, who sometimes passes up a chance to shoot.
Smith with it from the top of the slot, floating a pass back over to Ian McKay. Nifty move by McKay, but it goes wide. Rebound played along the glass. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Desperation, Bird shooting the ball. Couldn't get the full whip on the shot. And the ball is turned over to Philadelphia. Great to have you with us tonight on the radio at WGR Sports Radio 550. And for those of you viewing on the television, CW 23, Philly 57, and all the pluses to go with it. ESPN, NLL, and TSN. Bouncing ball, looking for control. Philadelphia. Try it again now. From the far corner, Eric Fennell. He's having a pretty good season so far. Leaving it back over to the near side. Soros couldn't get anything together. Good defense for Buffalo. And the ball commanded by Dawson. Clearing it back out. And up the field, the Bandits come.
A couple pass breakups there by the Bandits defense. Good job by Philly to find the loose ball, but a second pass breakup gives Buffalo the ball.
Smith with a shot on. Damoud coming with a save. The rebound, Buffalo jars free. Capturing it with a reset of the shot clock. Nice shoveling move there by Clay Scanlon, the designer of these Native American heritage uniforms, which, as David mentioned, will be auctioned off to benefit several of the youth lacrosse teams on the reservations here in the Western New York area. Into the line, Patton leaving the ball very quickly. LeClaire takes the shot. Quick save by Matt Vince. Rebound out in front. There's a shot on by Reardon. Busted up by Matt Vince. And just, you know, it's like smelling salts. He needs a couple of shots there to get back into the game.
Yeah, Vince likes seeing a lot of shots to get locked into the game. 2 chances there for Philadelphia. Another broken up pass, but Philadelphia strong on the loose ball. Gets a couple scoring chances, but Vince turned them away.
How about that scoring chance by Ian McKay? Buffalo takes the 7-6 lead.
And so far, John, the Bandits have gotten some pretty good looks here in the second half. Josh Byrne was all alone out front on Damoud, but he made the save on their last set. This time, the cross crease pass. Dane Smith finds McKay cutting wide outside the formation, not down the middle, but instead on the far side of the floor. And McKay catches the pass, and once again, from right on top of the crease, McKay able to score. Doesn't even really jump, just kind of, once again, that air walk over the crease and tucks this ball behind Damoud. The Bandits with their first lead since the Wings took a 4-3 lead. The Bandits now have the lead 7-6, fighting their way back out front.
Here's an all call for Western New York residents only. Don't forget to purchase your tickets for the 50-50 raffle. Thousands and thousands of dollars up right at the moment. Go to bandits.com/5050. New York residents only. Byrne, Smith, shot on. Damoud with the save. Where is it? I got to dig it out right at the moment. It leaves it off to the side there.
I think that one stung him a bit. He made the save and was kind of looking for the ball, and then just stayed down on one knee, composing himself a bit. I think that was a heavy shot from Dane, and I think that Damoud's feeling that one.
Fennell now to Reseteris with the ball. He's got a lean. Will elect to hang on and then maybe try it again. Reseteris with a shot. Vince with the save, and the rebound picked up by Buffalo and storming back out, displaying their transition. Ball carried by Priolo, left over for Smith. Priolo, along with Robinson, will retreat, and the rest of the forwards come back out for Buffalo. Leading it 7-6. Good move, McKay with a shot. Damoud read that one perfectly. Here come the Wings down the left wing lane, approaching the Buffalo restraining line. Evan Messenger with a message to the forwards to say, get it done, boys. From the far corner in the Buffalo zone. Twirling back out to the top of the slot. Shot on. That off the stick of Kyle Jackson. Now break for Buffalo. In over the line. Shot wide. Great opportunity again for transitionary purposes. How about Cam Myers, man? That guy can run.
Yeah, he took off and he ended up having to settle for a twister as he dove toward the crease. It goes just wide, but good speed there from number 5.
Reseteris with the ball, takes the shot over the top, saved by Matt Vince. Rebound, Philadelphia, and the reset of the shot clock. 7-6 Buffalo here in the third quarter of play. Reardon with the ball from the far corner. Jackson is there trying to look for another shot. Likes to go back over to O'Neal. O'Neal now, nifty move on his large frame, floating it back out in front. Shot saved by Matt Vince.
Matt Vince out to a real strong start this half, John. Another really good look from Reseteris. Vince had to stick that left leg way out, almost into a split, to take that chance away. Matt Vince dialed in so far in the second half.
35-29 in shots favoring Buffalo. They've got the 1-goal lead. Nanakoke with it, twirling out of the far corner now to the slot area. Getting in position is McKay. Now to Smith. Smith with a shot. Damoud with a save. Long outlet pass by Damoud, leaving it back over to Liam Patton. Patton with a shot saved by Matt Vince. Here we go, end-to-end action. Here's McKay, takes the shot. David with a kick save. Rebound back out at center. Now Philadelphia will fuel up and try it again.
And both goaltenders slamming the doors respectively.
Score, Philadelphia. Look-see. Welcome back, Kyle Jackson, to the Philadelphia Wings. Just acquired a couple of days ago, and he ties this game up at 7.
John, this is an incredible goal. This pass forces Kyle Jackson to lay out, and while in midair, he's able to hit a twister, and we have to check that left foot, because as he's in the air, the ball goes in, but his left foot, as he stumbles, kicks down. And that ball has to be in the net before his left foot would touch the ground.
Looks pretty good to me. Just good. Hang on to it. Coaches have 30 seconds this year to throw that red flag. You want my personal opinion. You think a guy like this, a game like this, going end to end all the time, you don't need to stop your play just to take a look at a very fraction of an inch. If somebody's inside the goal, that's just my little editorial statement.
Incredible goal there by Kyle Jackson, though. What an athletic play to stay in the air and twist her into the side of the net.
Top of the slot as it goes, blocked into traffic by Buffalo's defense. Rebound is picked up, and here come the Bandits back out to center. 7-7 the score here in this second half of play. Byrne being hampered just outside the faceoff circle at center. Pass finally connected over to Dane Smith from the far Philadelphia corner. In pursuit, all over the hand. Smith leaving it out in front. Shot on. Damoud with the save.
Working hard.
Leaving it back out to center. Here we go, more back and forth action. Good play by Buffalo's defense in pursuit there. Zach Belter just allowing Philadelphia to score.
Sowers able to go to the crease unabated for the most part. Belter comes out wide to kind of take away what might be an angle. Maybe he thought there was going to be some help behind him, but there was no help behind him. And then Sowers able to go one-on-one with Matt Vince and put it over his right shoulder as he jumps across the crease. And a little bit of a defensive breakdown there gives the Philadelphia Wings a good look, a goal from Sowers, and the lead back 8-7 Philadelphia with 8 minutes to go.
Sowers with his second goal of the evening. And as mentioned earlier in our broadcast about how well this youngster is playing. 5th game of the season with 2 for 2, San Diego.
Bandits down by 1.
And now Philadelphia back with the lead and starting to narrow the shot margin. Buffalo with 38, Philadelphia with 32, and Philadelphia with the ball. Fennell from the corner, wheeling it back out to the restraining line. Leaving it off to Rezateras. Now to Leclerc, far side pass, mad dash, shot hard. Hit the end boards. Talk about the velocity of a shot by O'Neill. That stops things with 7 minutes and 27 seconds of end-to-end action here in the third quarter of play. Philadelphia by 1. NLL Friday night on TSN moves to Saturday for the next couple of weeks, and 2 heavy hitters face off as the Bandits visit the Thunderbirds. Here's Dave Buchanan.
Thanks, John. We've talked about tonight how Joe Rezateras became the first American player to amass 900 career points, and now he's a proud Western New York native, and he's giving back to the local lacrosse community. Recently, Joe Rezateras started the Phenom Lacrosse Club to help youth lacrosse players here in Western New York. Last year, launching that club, he's also has Brad McCulley, the Rochester Nighthawks, as one of his coaches. And recently, the elite travel team for Phenom Lacrosse recently qualified for the U.S. Bobsled National Championships that will be held in Columbus later this year. And guys, when I talked to him this week, just asking about him coming back to play here in Buffalo, you could just feel it in the conversation. He was glowing. He loves being part of Buffalo so much. He's a huge Bills fan, and he loves getting a chance to come back here, play in front of friends and family, and his kids, who he coaches, they were some of the ball boys earlier today.
Always good to have him out on the turf there at KeyBank Center. Joey Reseteras with a goal and 2 assists so far, and that means Steve Bermel, 42 goals, 67 assists in his ventures against Buffalo. His illustrious career that has spanned not only Buffalo, Rochester, Albany, you name it, Philadelphia. Always good to see that number 15, regardless of what team he's playing for.
And don't forget, spent some time here in Buffalo in 2015 and 16.
Okay.
Scrambling for the ball, finally tamed by Big Paul Dawson. Dawson leaving it off for Ian McKay while the change-up is in progress right now for Buffalo. Dane Smith field wide acceptance. Smith trying to narrow the margin, getting a couple of slaps. Buchanan back to McKay behind the net. Opportunity, and the ball is cleared by Philadelphia.
All right, first time in the second half, everybody.
Carrying the ball.
Defense.
And over the line they go. Deep from the corner, Fennell. Fans trying to root their team on. The traditional defense chant. Deking it away. Sowers now with some opportunities. Elects to go back behind the net. Carried back out. Not much to do because they ran out of 30 seconds. So Buffalo's opportunity. Steve, this is where the Bandits have to capitalize on a breakout like this and a fresh 30.
Yeah, your defense does a good job. Holds everything to the outside. No chance even for a shot on goal. Now the offense needs to go do their part and put a ball in the net.
Burn with an opportunity right at the doorstep. Wide. A little slow in getting up while the play continues. Dane Smith taking a shot, glazing off the side of Damoud, resetting the shot clock again. Buffalo at work. Buchanan and Nanico team up together. Now over to Smith from the corner, back to Buchanan from the slot area. Near side to Bird, to Buchanan over the shoulder shot. Damoud got a piece of that one, resetting the shot clock. We saw this in the first quarter of play by the Bandits hemming Philadelphia in. Bird, Smith with a shot, and Damoud comes up with a beautiful save.
Real good chances for Buffalo. 3 of them all turned away. Can't find the back of the net. A good offensive set, though. But Philadelphia with the lead in the ball now to try to extend their lead to 2.
Here they come, narrowing the margin inside the Bandit zone. Reseteras goes to the far side. Deking along the way. Neal. Now to Leclerc. Neal with that big frame. Getting a couple of hits along the way, but he powers his way in front. Left to the doorstep of Matt Benson. Now Buffalo breaks out. Here's a break for Robinson. In over the restraining line of Philadelphia. Firing it back while the fire wagon change happens for the Bandits out the front door. Fresh forces come in, led by Byrne to McKay. McKay and Byrne combined together. Here's Byrne. Couldn't hang on to the ball. That's whipped free. Bouncing ball picked up by Philadelphia. Isaiah Davis-Harlan will have it and leave it off to his offense. In over the line goes Reseteras. Familiar location. Loses control. And Buffalo breaks it up.
Really a loose ball push here. Reseteras fell down on his own, and then Sowers gets dumped. And the loose ball push will give Philadelphia possession.
3:59 left to play. Third quarter. Philadelphia by 1. Oh, what a difference a season makes. The Bandits last year looking for claim number 3, which they did, but they started out 7-0. And Steve, look at them now, 3-4, and on the edge of a losing situation. But it ain't over yet. Numbers mean a lot now, the performance of the Bandits. If you want to be a critic, that average of 16 goals a game now is down to about 11 as John Tavares talks to his crew, say this is what we need to do.
And Coach Tavares told me this morning, he didn't quite say he was watching the standings, but he talked about the standings and said, look, you can only play the game in front of you. These games do have a little more weight to them because we're out of the playoff picture. But John, I believe 2 years ago, this Bandits club was 5-6 and being counted out by a lot of people, and they went on a heck of a run and ended up with back-to-back championships. So uncharacteristic of the Bandits to be in this situation, but as mentioned, a lot of time left for both of these teams to improve their spot in the NLL standings.
Said work for everything we earn. See what they can do here in this narrowing time of the third quarter of play. Down by 1, Philadelphia with a shot over the shoulder of Matt Vince. Picked up by Buffalo's defense, and now a break for the Bandits. Down the right wing lane, the speed of Cam Wires. Might want to push him up front just to add a little element of surprise. McKay, Manicoke, Buchanan team up together. Now back over to McKay. Smith with a shot. David with a save. And the netminder, gosh, already into his 6th season, getting the play started for Philadelphia, leading it by 1 with 3 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Fennell starts it up at the restraining line of Buffalo, deep into the corner. Deking along the way. One arm positioning now for Philadelphia. In front. Goes off the side of Sowers. Looking for that hat trick. 30-second violation. That's a couple of times so far in this second half, Steve, that Philadelphia's exercised that 30-second shot clock.
Yeah, and Spanger lit up Kyle Jackson in the middle as he tried to catch the pass. A perfectly timed hit by Matt Spanger forced the loose ball that got the 30-second shot clock violation.
Buchanan with a shot. Got his own rebound. Scores! His own quick stick.
John, do you ever play like pig or horse in the driveway where you call your own shot off the backboard? I'm going to catch it midair, an alley-oop to myself. Kyle Buchanan winds and fires from the top of the slot, but it gets deflected, so it goes over the top of the net. Buchanan hops up and catches the loose ball, and there are 2 defenders between him and the net. So what does he do? He turns 180 degrees and shoots a backhand shot that 5-holes Nick Damoud. Incredible goal. Damoud had no idea that this shot could even get taken by Kyle Buchanan, and it rolls into the back of the net. We are tied at 8. What a highlight reel goal by Kyle Buchanan.
14th of the season, 2nd of the night. A beauty to tie things up for Buffalo at 8 here with 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining of this third quarter of play. Buchanan held scoreless last week in Colorado, but he is certainly making a name for himself tonight here at KeyBank Center in celebration of Native American Heritage Night. Joey Reseteras getting some help right now, trying to get some real estate open. The legs to go. Back over in front with a drive, score, Philadelphia.
An immediate response by the Wings on the very next possession. A 2-man game with Reseteras and Sam LeClaire. He cuts inside around Paul Dawson. And as former teammate Mike McCannell slides out to try to take the shooting lane away, Sam LeClaire, while falling down, goes sidearm around Matt Vince. And just like that, the Wings reclaim the lead.
So they're getting scoring from a lot of players tonight. Speaking for Philadelphia, O'Neill with his hat trick, Sowers with a couple, Reseteras, Jackson with 1, Dominique. And now LeClaire on there to give the Philadelphia wings a 9-8 lead over the Bandits here in the closing minutes of quarter number 3. Buffalo countering with the attack.
Down by 1 again.
Buchanan setting up the play in over the restraining line of Philadelphia. Near side is Dehuka Nanticoke. Here's Nanticoke now. See if he goes beast mode. Elects to go it over to Dane Smith. Smith on his own, taking a shot to move to say rebound. Nanticoke. He's forced into the net area. And that will create a little pushing and shoving match while the play continues. And it transfers down into Buffalo territory. Patton with the ball. Being hammered. A couple of slashes by McKay doing his job defensively. And finally, things get cleaned up on the opposite end. And now Philadelphia, with 1 minute left to play here in the third quarter, leading it by 1. And over the line, Reardon with a shot. Tic-tac-toe. Off the stick of Fennell, but hang on here. We've got a stoppage of play. 50.9 seconds remaining.
I think Nanticoke's going to go to the box here, and that's what the unrest was here by the Bandits fans. I think they're thinking he might have been pushed into the crease. Let's see what we have for the call.
Buffalo, minor penalty to number 1. 2 minutes for roughing.
And the penalty to number 1. They held advantage. 2 minutes for roughing. Nanticoke.
A roughing call. Dane Smith takes the first shot. Nanticoke takes the second. He gets pushed from behind and then clambers into Scott Dominy, and they both fall into the crease. Dominy into Damoud like a domino.
You make the call at home. Top of the slot play by Philadelphia. As the power play continues, and so does the third quarter. Top of the slot, O'Neal likes to go back over to Ramirez. Now O'Neal with a drive and a block shot. That one's going to leave a mark on Paul Dawson. Quick shoveling move. Prialdo to a DK Smith. Scores! Speaking about moving a player up front, why don't you put 23 up there?
Well, Dane Smith gets out the front door. And John, I'm not quite sure what Philadelphia is doing in reverse transition here, because you've got to know how fast 92 is. And he comes in with speed around Alex Pace. And he just hits one little move and puts that past Damoud. The Bandits join into the special teams party with a shorthanded goal in transition. And we're tied at 9, 16 seconds left in the quarter and 1:26 left in the penalty to Nanticoke.
So Dane Smith, 2 goals, 4 assists so far with his 6 points. He averages 7 points coming in 2 games so far this season. Philadelphia trying to get something together. Good relentless forechecking by the Bandits, and checking as well, jarring the ball free. And that's going to do it for the third quarter of play tonight from the KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo. The celebration of Native American Heritage Night, and a great game that it is. So happy that you're with us as our coverage continues.
Brought to you by Nissan.
teams match 3 goals apiece in the third quarter of play. Let's go down to Dave Buchanan.
Well, we saw Kyle Buchanan score that highlight reel goal earlier in this half. Coming into the building tonight, he was looking pretty good too. He was sporting the jersey of his cousin, Laura Stacey, who's playing for Team Canada in the Winter Olympics in Italy, as the Canadian women's hockey team beat Switzerland today 4-0. So both members of the family having a good day here so far.
I guess, gotta like that one for sure for Kyle Buchanan. He's got to feel happy back on the score sheet from a scoreless position last week in Colorado, and helping his club right now tied at 9. Fourth quarter action, and I'm sure it will open up even more. While the Bandits are gathering a play, don't forget, folks, that the applications are now open for the Native American Scholarship awarded to a local student. Apply today at bandits.com/scholarship. That's a local student that's involved in a college or university. The Native American Scholarship Fund.
John Kemp Wires just rolled that ball over to Josh Byrne to try to milk more time off the clock, and Byrne couldn't handle it. And now the turnover gives the Wings a chance on the power play.
Wings again now from behind the net, setting up the play. Reardon is there. O'Neill, there's a diving shot. Vince read that one, and Buffalo breaks out of their zone, and now a good dash by Dane Smith. Here's Smith in over the line, takes the shot. Saved by David, and Smith gets his own rebound.
We don't have a penalty time on the clock. We're going to check and see how much time is left in the Nanticoke penalty, because he's standing up ready to come out of the box. They've got to check and see if we're playing 5-a-side.
So tune things down a little bit, their collective breath, and refuel, and get ready to go for what will be, I'm sure, Steve, a wild remaining part of regulation time.
Yeah, it's going to be as silly as it is. Who could win the quarter, right? Obviously, it's tied up at 9, but, you know, both coaches probably saying, go win 1 quarter of lacrosse here. That's what both teams will aim to do. And, John, 5 seconds left on the clock to the Nehoka Nanticoke penalty.
It's cool.
AK leaving it to the offside, and the familiar sound of penalty expiration. And Nanticoke has got it. Nehoka Nanticoke into traffic from the slot area over the shoulder feed. That would be set up to Buchanan, but Damoud takes that one away, and Philadelphia charges back out at center, and in over the line they come. Top of the slot. Shot on, save by Matt Vince. Evan Messinger got a piece of that one on the rush on a transition for Philadelphia. Now the Bandits attack again. Nick Weiss leaving it over to Josh Byrne. Byrne into the far corner to Ian McKay. Whittles with it. McKay with a shot. Saved by Damu. Oh, they scored.
We saw the net move. This is an interesting one, John. Ian McKay cuts in, and he puts it short side at Damoud's left shoulder, and the net moved. Now the question is, did the ball make it move, or the butt end of Damoud's stick? Near side official gave no signal but a reset of the shot clock. The far side official calls it a goal, and that looks like that might have tucked its way into the net.
The previous play is under automatic review.
So the overhead camera, John, shows as soon as McKay lets this go, it ends up hitting the mesh and gets kind of stuck between Damoud's arm, the post, and the mesh. But of course the ball has to completely cross the goal line. Oh my gosh, this is going to be tough to tell, because it's the overhead cam makes it look like it's kind of on top of the goal line, doesn't it, John?
It sure does. Got to be completely across, while the officiating staff, Chris Williams, the crew chief tonight, reviewing things on an automatic review. His call on a critical goal that was scored by Buffalo, Ian McKay, and they'll take it frame by frame of their new cloud-based system that the league has installed in every NLL venue, and again forwards the opportunity Bandits on the Buffalo connection with Philadelphia. A great game so far. If you're a casual viewer just saying, hey, I'm having fun, don't care who wins, I just love to see the end-to-end action and high scoring, of which we have right now at 9-9, and the officials continue to take a look at things on their automatic review. They made the decision to take a look at things, so they've got X number of monitors available to see what kind of call it's going to be in a critical game like this, with two clubs trying to get out from underneath losing streaks. Philadelphia was 6 and Buffalo with that 3-game losing streak. And we're getting a shot of overhead here at the arena, and internally it looks as if the ball just hit the side of Nick Daboud and just sat there on the goal line. See what there's the decision.
Due to inconclusive evidence and the lead official having no goal, we stay with no goal.
So fans upset, John, because you could see this ball hit the mesh, right? You see the ball go in, the mesh moves in the back of the net, but right from the jump, you know, you see the overhead shot, and the ball appears to be over the goal line instead of completely in the net. And important to note, because the lead official says no goal, that is the call on the field that stands. So the lead official having no goal on the play is what ultimately leads.
Well, you can clearly see the ball in the overhead shot hitting the inside of the netting and then returning it back over to the goal line. So it indeed crossed the goal line. That was, on my call, a good goal from the overhead shot, but nullified by Chris Williams, the crew chief. 9-9 remains the score here in the fourth quarter with 12 minutes and 53 seconds remaining. Buffalo in the attack, led by Steve Priobo. Into the line he goes, trying to clear some real estate for Dane Smith. Priobo creating some havoc before heading over to the bench and being relieved by Ian McKay. Here is Josh Byrne reversing thrusters. Byrne now back over to Smith with a drive. Daboud with the save. The rebound picked up by Philadelphia, and they break back out at center. Charging with the ball in over the restraining line of Buffalo. Philadelphia slows it down. Patrick Foley leaving it off to Fennell now. Just at the Buffalo restraining line to the near side. Blaze Reardon from the near corner. Scooch back out. Leaving it over to LeClaire. LeClaire, Jackson with a drive hitting the end boards. Rebound back out. Over and back charge on Buffalo. So it's left idle down to the doorstep of Daboud. Critical positioning now for Buffalo with that ball. The advantage down into the near corner of Philadelphia. Yehuka Nanakok with it. Looking for some real estate, leaving it off now to McKay, to Byrne. Byrne's play intercepted and picked up by Philadelphia and cleared down the right wing lane. The Jets have been turned on. Isaiah Davis-Allen leaving the ball off, and a quick change for Philadelphia right back into Buffalo territory. Score tied at 9 here in the fourth quarter of play. Deking is O'Neill. 3 goals tonight for the big boy. Second year. O'Neill floats it down to the near side. There's a drive on. And off the stick of Kyle Jackson. It'll be Buffalo's ball, and they'll start it up. Urgency now, Steve, for the Bandits.
Yeah, still 9-9, plenty of time left, but it kind of feels like they're chasing a little bit despite 50 shots on goal. They need a couple in a row.
There's Dane Smith with a shot. Daboud with a save. Rebound. Files an opening to Josh Byrne. Byrne now leaving it back over to Smith. Smith tipping it over to Buchanan. Now the Bandits with the ball. Shot by Smith wide. Rebound Buffalo. Yehuka Nanakok with a drive. Daboud coming up with that one. Now Philadelphia with ease out of their own zone. 9-9 the score. 52-35 in shots favoring Buffalo. O'Neill in over the Buffalo restraining line from the near side. Back to the top of the slot to Reardon. Reardon tipping it to Resetaris. Now Jackson. Jackson from the far Buffalo corner. Fennell back on the turf to O'Neill. O'Neill eyeing up the situation, takes a dig, and a swim move, shot on, rebound, jumps out in front.
That popped into the net, John, but Blaze Reardon fell into the crease, and by the time it crossed the goal line, they called a crease violation. That went off Vince up in the air, landed in the net, but the crease violation keeps the score at 9.
Played over 5 minutes of this fourth quarter. Score tied at 9. Seesaw battle back and forth. Dane Smith with a turn. Top of the slot.
Legal pick call. That feels kind of soft, John. A legal pick called against Buffalo there as the two-man game went to work on the right side.
9:45 remaining, fourth quarter of play. Score is tied at 9. Hard pick, hard pick, hard pick.
It is 449-663. If you're holding a ticket, congratulations. Head to account services.
Five other games tonight in the National Lacrosse League. Here is an update and another shootout happening. Calgary and Ottawa locked up at 9, and Toronto with the 11-6 lead. Guess, Steve, there was a pretty good duke with a former Buffalo Bandit.
Yeah, Emerson Clark and Elijah Gash going at it early in that one.
Saskatchewan at San Diego, 10 o'clock start. Rochester, Vancouver, 10 o'clock. And the third quarter action, Georgia with a 9-5 lead over Vegas. On the eve of the big game tomorrow. Do you have a favorite at all, Steve?
No.
Just let it happen.
Yeah, just let it happen.
Enjoy the day. Hope you're enjoying tonight's game here in Buffalo with Philadelphia. And Buffalo locked up at 9, and Philadelphia going to work down into the Bandit zone. Peeking from the corner, carrying it back out. Jackson now over to Fennell. Fennell to O'Neill. O'Neill looking for an opportunity with those nifty steps that he's making. Far side. Deking along the way is Jackson with a shot saved by Matt Vince, and now Buffalo breaking out in an opportunity. Running with the ball.
Just got to get it. Yeah.
John, another ball at midfield that instead of bouncing rolled. Did you see that? It was bouncing in front of Weiss, and instead of bouncing, it hits a roll in the turf and just stays on the ground. But a great hustle play by Nick Weiss to not lose the ball there.
Now with the attack carried by Ian McKay. Goes to the top of the slot, near side over to Buchanan, who will start his nifty deking from the slot area. Feed pass out in front intended for Nanticoke. In and out of the crease he goes.
Gonna get a penalty here.
Looks like it might be goaltender interference or getting in the way of the goaltender.
Damoud came out to scoop the ball that was coming off the end boards, and Nanticoke makes contact with him from behind, and I think it was inside the crease, which would warrant goaltender interference. 6-on-5 set with the delayed penalty right now for Philadelphia.
The terrace from behind. That diving shot saved by Matt Benson. Rebound picked up by Buffalo, and another penalty coming up against the Bandits. And a minor call on Dehuka Nanticoke. So Philadelphia will go to their fourth power play opportunity. And we await the call here with 8:13 remaining, fourth quarter. Score tied at 9.
Buffalo penalty to number 1, 2 minutes goaltender interference.
So I believe that's back-to-back penalties to Dehuka Nanticoke. But the last time he was in the box, Dane Smith scored a shorthanded goal. We've seen shorthanded goals scored by both teams, 2 by the wings on 1 power play.
See what happens here now with Philadelphia from the top of the slot. Jackson quarterbacks this power play, leaving it back from behind the net. Now O'Neill, a fake the windup. Now he'll probably take it again. Nope, leads it back. There's precision passing and a good save off the shoulder of Matt Vince. And Buffalo breaking it out shorthanded. Immediately pass in front, shot on. Goal! McKay off the saddle and right to the net.
And John, I think I saw Damoud point to the bench here. He might want the flag thrown because it's going to be a question on if the ball goes in before McKay's foot touches the ground. But as it stands right now, another shorthanded goal scored by Buffalo. McKay out the front door, out of a cannon, And as he came across the crease, twister over his left shoulder. They're telling him to throw it. John, I don't know if it's already been 30 seconds. There's the flag. And we'll see if it was thrown in time. The near side official is saying no, waving his arms, pointing at his wrist, saying that the 30 seconds had expired, and this is a huge game changer because I think they needed to look at this one, John.
Assist number 5, Cam Wires.
5 seconds shaved off that challenge from last year to this year.
Short-handed goal at 7:16.
Have to react very closely. The coaching staff on both benches have the flexibility of that cloud-based system, not as intricate as the officials have, and the off-field officials, but they can certainly take a look at replays very quickly to make a split-second decision. Let's go down to Dave.
Yeah, John, I was watching the Philadelphia coaching staff look at their tablet behind the bench, and they were, as they were looking at Tracy Kelusky, was screaming at the other coaches to throw the challenge flag, but as they ruled, it was too late with the call. The red light had gone off here at floor level.
So foiled on that one, and another shot by Buffalo saved after Dave Mood, and 7:05 remaining now here in regulation. 10-9 Buffalo. Philadelphia in over the line. Fennell to Reardon, now to O'Neill. Whipping the ball away in their formation. Esoteris with his prowess. O'Neill now to the side of Reardon. Fennell pushing people away. Quick stick shot saved by Matt Vince. Point blank range.
John, how did Matt Vince even know that he needed to get over to that post? That play comes from behind the net, and the quick stick attempt, and Vince shoots over to that right post and clears it off. One of Vince's best saves of the day. 15 seconds left in the penalty to Deoga Nanako.
10-9 Buffalo here. 6:20 remaining regulation. Josh Byrne with an open lane. Byrne with that drive. That hits the end boards. Rebound, Buffalo. And the Bandits are back to full strength. A one-arm shot, score! Finally, Lucas Nielsen gets one.
The shot clock was winding down, and Nielsen with another highlight reel goal for the Bandits. Out of time, out of space, with just his left hand on the stick, John. As he's fighting off the check from Ben Cromer, and with one hand is able to put this past Damoud, and it finds the back of the net. And Buffalo, with its first 2-goal lead since the first quarter when they opened a 3-goal lead, with 6:07 to play, a little mini run here for the Bandits has them up by 2.
Critical moments here now with 6 minutes remaining in regulation, and another penalty coming up.
Going right back to the box as the loose ball was in the air off the face-off. I think that was Liam Patton going up the ladder, and he takes a heavy check. And I believe we're going to have an illegal cross check here.
Here's the call.
Buffalo minor penalty, 2 minutes, illegal cross check.
And Steve Priolo going to the box for the cross check as Liam Patton went up the ladder looking for the loose ball off the face-off. Now the last 2 times the Wings had a power play, the Bandits scored. So as this ball's up in the air, Patton goes up for it, and Priolo gives him a cross check.
6th power play opportunity for Philadelphia to get right back into this game. Plenty of time. And a conversation now just outside the face-off circle at center with the on-field officials.
Not sure what that was about.
19,070 the attendance this evening here at KeyBank Center. Folks braving the single-digit temperatures and with wind chill below 0. O'Neill from the slot area looks for openings. Will take that step and leave it back behind the net. Fennell whipping it over to Jackson. Jackson to O'Neill. O'Neill from behind the net. Trying to set up the play. Jackson skipping the ball from his partner from behind the net. O'Neill goes for a long drive. Saved by Matt Vince. Nope. It crossed the goal line, so Philadelphia ties it up.
John,
made the initial save, but fell right back across the goal line.
You'll remember in the first half, I said that when Brendan O'Neill had beaten them a couple times, Steve Priola was quickly getting out to his hands to try to take away the shot. Well, Steve Priola's in the box. So as they got out to try to take that shot away, he had just enough time and room to pull the trigger from inside the restraining line as the shot clock was expiring. And as you said, Vince gets most of it, but I think it bounced off the post and then bounced off the backside of Matt Vince and trickled into the net. And for the Wings, their power play finally can strike after being given a couple of chances here. And they cut the Bandits' lead back down to 1.
O'Neill with his 4th goal of the evening. Farrell winning a much-needed draw. Belter leaving it off now for Dane Smith. In over the restraining line of Philadelphia from the near side. He's got Buchanan with him, creating disturbance. And now Dane Smith on his own, shooting it. Dane got a piece of that one off his shoulder. Rebound Buffalo and the reset of the shot clock. 5 minutes, 4 seconds remaining in regulation. Buffalo by 1, 11-10. Now Buchanan tipping it over to Smith. Smith to the near side. Scanlon. Byrne. Smith over the shoulder shot. Score!
Waved off. McKay's wondering why. I don't know if they're going to say a separate non-shooter was in the crease or if that didn't go in. If they're going to deem that that hit the inside of the post and came out. But John, that sure as heck looked like that popped in and out of the net.
The red flag goes right to the face-off dot at center for the Buffalo challenge, stopping things with 4 minutes and 36 seconds remaining here in regulation. Buffalo by 1, 11-10. And we get a shot from the Buffalo bench, and Eric Vince having a discussion with one of the officials. And Steve, your call here on the play being set up.
Well, part of the call here, John, is that Ian McKay's caused all kinds of controversy here. He had the ball that got pinned up against the post. He had the shorthanded goal that Philadelphia threw the flag on, but not in time. And now he has this one that's hitting the inside of the post. And it pops off the post, off Damoud, and off the post again. And this might not have crossed the goal line. The 3rd goal of the game by McKay that has been brought to question, and the 2nd one that we've reviewed. Man, this might have hit all 3 posts and not crossed the goal line. This might have hit post, crossbar, foot, post. McKay was excited and celebrating as soon as he let the shot go because he saw it go behind Damoud, but did it cross the goal line?
So in a critical situation like this, the on-field officials back to the off-field officials and to the cloud-based system of taking a look at it frame by frame to see if that ball indeed crossed the goal line high into the top netting. As taut as it might be, we are getting a chance now to take a look at the overhead shot.
John, I don't think this crossed the goal line. I think it stayed out the whole time. Rattled around, hit the post, hit the crossbar, hit Damoud's foot, but I don't see that ball over the goal line at any point.
Well, you can see on the top left where the initial shot is.
Yeah, they're zooming in on it as well.
Getting a little bit of twine to move. And whether or not that inside of the twine was crossing the goal line in its point there. The crowd quiet as well, trying to take a look at things with the replays that are available to them here at KeyBank Center.
It's the same part of the net, John. It's that left post behind Damoud. Same part of the net that we saw the first goal get reviewed on. That was an automatic review sparked by the officials. This one, John Tavares throwing the challenge flag because McKay says, hey, that went in. But we'll see what the decision is.
As we had mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, while they're checking and validating whether or not Ian McKay's goal will stand. This being with two legacy teams of the NLL, the 62nd meeting overall. We call it Philadelphia 1 and Philadelphia 2. And the Bandits with a 35-26 one-loss record. And recently with the Bandits a 6-0 record against the Wings. And again, the Wings trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. Buffalo looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. And coming back after that disastrous loss last week in Colorado. And both teams, Steve, I think you will agree, as well as the viewers and listeners, would agree that both teams are playing desperate. And it's been a very exciting lacrosse game.
Yeah, back and forth we've gone. The biggest lead was 3-0 the Bandits had in the first quarter. I don't think the Wings have ever led by more than one. The Bandits had a 2-goal lead that got clipped. It might be 2 goals again. Let's see.
The ball never crosses the goal line. The call on the floor stands, no goal.
Well, a definitive statement by crew chief Chris Williams. Ball did not cross the goal line. And leaves it 11-10 Buffalo, 4:36 remaining in regulation. We will continue after this timeout. The NLL on ESPN is brought to you in part by Hotel Planner. Travel smarter with exclusive NLL fan discounts at nll.hotelplanner.com. And by StubHub, your home for tickets to the speed and intensity of the NLL. Great battle back and forth. John Gertler, Steve Bermel, Dave Buchanan with you this evening here at KeyBank Center. Official attendance of 19,070 on hand as Buffalo mired in a cold snap, as is the entire western New York area. In the single digits and below zero on the wind chill. Ten shots. 41 by Philadelphia, 57 by Buffalo. That's up there for a season high, Steve, and Bandits really have to connect a little bit more on this one to take it in on a high-level victory if they can do it.
Damu's been very good in this game, though. But Buffalo could have 15 goals, but Damu's been very solid back there for the Wings.
Final 5 minutes of this game. Now Philadelphia trying to swarm in and score!
Michael Sowers from outside. We've seen him score a couple times driving the crease. This time pops out, little crow hop, one stride down in between two Bandits defenders and into the far corner. And just like that, we're tied up again, John, at 11. 4:19 to play. And the crowd here at KeyBank Center stunned once again. 4:19 to play.
So the four-time All-Star of the field game, Michael Sowers, settling in quite nicely. Ian Rubel had mentioned about Sowers and Dalton Young, as well as Brendan O'Neill getting adjusted from the field game to the box game. Both learning on that and also learning
All right, Bandit getting down to crunch time. Here we go. Next goal could be a big one.
Be adhesive to the team concept. And they're putting on a pretty good show here tonight with 4 minutes of regulation remaining. Score is tied at 11. Blaze Reardon leaving the ball back over to Jackson. Here's Jackson with a drive. He scores! And Philadelphia takes a 1-goal lead, 12-11.
Kyle Jackson runs all the way around the Bandits defense. Goes to the wrong side of the floor. Gets hampered with a stick up around his shoulder. And still manages to wrap this ball around Matt Vince on the crease dive. And a 3-goal run by the Wings turns a 2-goal deficit into a 1-goal lead with 3:52 to play in regulation.
So the 8-year free agent signed a couple of days ago by Philadelphia, played Rochester, Philadelphia, Halifax, San Diego, Albany, Oshawa, and now back here to Philadelphia, making the big contribution tonight for his club. And awarding the 12-11 lead. Now critical time for Buffalo with 3:44 and counting left to play into regulation.
All right, Bandit, got to get that ball back.
Jackson, 2 goals, 4 assists so far tonight. In over the line comes Philadelphia. Led of the charge of Brendan O'Neill, his 6'2", 230-pound frame, looking for an opening. Letting it go to the left wing side to Resiteris, now to the far corner to Jackson with a nifty deke. Taking a twirl, shoveling past to Fennell with a drive, shoulder save. Matt Vince, rebound Buffalo. Breaking out is Robinson. 3:10 left to play in the regulation. Buffalo down by 1, 12-11. Josh Byrne with the ball to Dane Smith. Combining together in over the restraining line of Philadelphia. Smith on his own, he's got some room, takes the shot. Hampered up after defense. Taking that full throttle away of Dane Smith's shot. 57-44 in shots favoring Buffalo, but the Bandits have to get back into defensive position while Philadelphia goes back to work on offense. Blaze Reardon from the top of the slot, leaving it back over to Joey Resiteris. Now to Jackson. Jackson to Reardon. Reardon field wide to a running Resiteris. He couldn't hang on to it, and Vince has got it with an outlet pass. Buffalo on the charge with 2:22 remaining in regulation.
All right.
Weiss leaving it back over to Dane Smith. Smith getting the pick from Buchanan. Elects to go to the far side. Clay Scanlon now to McKay. There's Scanlon, the drive that goes wide. Rebound Jets all the way back out. Save the Oberyn back charge.
He's got time.
There's Buchanan. Triola couldn't hang on to it. No time left on the shot clock, so it's Philadelphia's ball with 1:55 remaining in regulation. 12-11 Philadelphia. Buffalo at one time here in the second half of the game had the 2-goal lead, but that has evaporated. O'Neill leaving the ball back to Fennell. Now to Jackson. Jackson from the top of the slot elects to go to the far corner. Sowers is there. Looking for the hat trick. Nifty deke by Sowers. Shooting the ball, scores! Oh boy, 1:28 remaining in regulation, and the coats are going on the shoulders of the 19,070 fans here at KeyBank Center. For Sowers with a flight plan and beating Matt Vince to the left side. And anything under 2 minutes, the officials will take a review, but just keep the pace going here and make the decision very quickly.
That's going to be a good goal by Sowers. That ball goes in the net before his foot steps down. An empty set for Buffalo on offense, a turnover, and Philadelphia comes the other way. Sowers able to come across the crease, and while up in the air, tucks this in, giving Philly a 2-goal lead with 1:28 to play. And now, biggest face-off yet in the game about to happen at midfield.
So Buffalo jumps out to a 3-0 lead in the first quarter. Actually, the first 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Philadelphia follows up with a run of 4 goals to take a 4-3 lead. At the end of one, Buffalo ties it up. Philadelphia gets one. Buffalo gets one. Philadelphia gets one. Buffalo gets 2. Take a 7-6 lead in the third quarter of play. Philadelphia follows up with 2. Buffalo tying it up at 8, and then Buffalo going on to a 3-goal run.
John, I think this is the first time the Wings have had a 2-goal lead this game. I could be wrong, but my mental math is telling me the Wings haven't had a 2-goal lead up to this point.
I think you are correct, sir. We've got O'Neill, Sowers, and Jackson, the most recent to score.
The floor is confirmed. Good goal.
And once again, just an automatic review as any goal scored in the last 2 minutes with a game within 5 goals will be automatically reviewed, and Sowers able to stay airborne before that ball goes in the net before he steps down, confirming a good goal. And as I said a little bit ago, John, a huge face-off here for both teams. Possession crucial with 1:28 to play.
Farrell with 16 wins so far tonight, battles for it. Loose ball still in the face-off dot, and it's picked up by Buffalo. Now Matt Vince dashes to the bench. The extra attacker prepares to come out as Dane Smith travels across the restraining line of Philadelphia from the left side. Smith now, along with Nanacoke, team up with Buchanan. Deep into the far corner is McKay, shot on. Saved by Damoud, rebound Buffalo. Top of the slot, there's Byrne with a drive. Back behind the net, try to get it over to Buchanan. A shot on by Smith, blocked. Now Byrne with a shot, that goes wide. Smith to Nanacoke. Nanacoke lost it. Byrne takes a shot, that's blocked into traffic. 42 seconds remaining in regulation. Oh, yawning that at the other end. Goes wide. Rebound Buffalo.
John, all those chances by Byrne, he's trying to pass. He's like taking a shot pass, but every single one of them missed.
Smith over the line. Byrne with it now. Moves to the slot area, back to Smith. Big stick. Back behind the net.
It's going to be an interesting call because McKay's stick was hampered as he took this shot and it goes out of play, but I don't think any of the Wings players touched the ball, meaning this is Philadelphia's possession, and with 21 seconds to go, they indicate their timeout.
See if we can get a shot of that again on the confusion. Not only from Buffalo's side of the fence, but the questions being asked by Ian McKay. And we could see on the scoreboard here at the arena a dejected Dane Smith heading over to the Buffalo bench.
Deflect the ball. They stick checked McKay, and I think that's ultimately why the decision was made to give Philadelphia possession. Challenge flag on the floor, but first off, in the last 2 minutes of the game, but also I don't even know if you can review, you know, a possession play like this where this is probably just Tavares saying, hey, I think you need to look and determine if we can hear the coaches yelling from up here, John. They took the challenge flag away and put it in the penalty box.
Well, what was a 19,070 attendance mark here at KeyBank Center has dwindled down to a handful of thousands. 21 seconds left, and you can feel the cold chill now with all the doors being opened and people vacating this venue. Buffalo will travel next week over to Halifax. Part of TSN's coverage on Saturday night. We'll have the game for you on radio. 15-20 the bet. 10 seconds left. Buffalo trying to get within. Gathering up is Steve Priolo. 5 seconds left. Priolo with a long drive, and Damoud comes up with a save with 1.1 seconds remaining. That's going to do it. Philadelphia snaps their 6-game losing streak, defeating Buffalo 13-11 tonight here at KeyBank Center. Initial thoughts, Steve, just collected.
Yeah, we talked pregame about the Bandits offense needing to get going. They got more than 10 goals. They only had 9 in the games that they lost recently. They crossed the 10-goal margin. They score 11, but they still give up 13. And ultimately, the Wings able to withstand the blows that Buffalo threw at them, a couple of 3-goal lead and 2-goal lead late. And the Wings go on a couple runs of their own, including one late in the game. And despite being pretty heavily outshot, Philadelphia comes out on top 13-11 over Buffalo.
Buffalo's offense sputtered. Dane Smith only 2 goals but 5 assists for his 7 points average, holding up to that mark. Ian McKay, pretty good night with a hat trick and 2 assists. Byrne with 4 assists. But you said, Steve, in certain parts of the game, Byrne's got to shoot more. He's got to shoot it more on net.
Yeah, something seems off with Burns. I mean, he's such a great goal scorer, and he's been struggling to score. The last time we were in this building, he didn't score until there was a minute to go against Ottawa. No goals here tonight. And for someone like Josh Byrne, not only a great offensive player, but a super dynamic goal scorer, just unable to find the back of the net. And, you know, one of the other stories is great scoring chances. Ian McKay had a great night with a hat trick, but a couple chances that hit the inside of the post and don't cross the goal line. And sometimes, John, it's that close. And when you're losing and you're struggling, like Buffalo losing 3 straight games, it seems like those bounces don't go your way.
Let's take a look at the TFL 3 stars of the game. And it goes over to Kyle Jackson, just recently acquired, the free agent. 2 goals and 5 assists, Steve. A welcome addition to the Philadelphia Wings.
Yeah, 7.9 for Kyle Jackson, right from the free agent list to the floor. And Kyle Jackson has always enjoyed playing against Buffalo. I remember some big games from him when he's in Rochester. Dane Smith with 7 points of his own, and then Brennan O'Neill. A lot of big goals with that outside shot, especially on the power play, quarterbacking the power play. A solid night for Brennan O'Neill.
Here's Dave Buchanan with Kyle Jackson.
Kyle, how does it feel to go from street free agent to leading the Wings in scoring here tonight?
It feels good to be back. I like to think that I stay ready for moments like this, and today was a great example, but just trying to show my kids that you could do anything.
What do you attribute to being able to just jump right into this offense and contribute like that?
Just good people. Good people make it easy.
Congratulations. Go enjoy some of your teammates.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Kyle Jackson, first star of the game, 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 total points. Joey Reseteris with a 1-4 status with 5 points. Dane Smith again 2-5-7. And Ian McKay with 3 goals and 2 assists. Bandits lose yet again, 13-11. Peter Neville and our producer tonight on radio, Tom Maddie, our technical director. Steve Abatrani, our producer, and Lior Herman, our director tonight on television. For Dave Buchanan, Steve Bermo, John Gertler, good night from Buffalo.